So today we're going to make a Christmas cake from a kit, and what we need is the Christmas cake kit, a 20 centimetre or 8-inch round tin with a loose bottom, large mixing bowl with a sieve, some baking parchment circles 20 centimetre or 8-inch, a mug to break the eggs into, 3 medium eggs, free-range eggs. I think it's about 170 grams of unsalted butter, which is best left out at room temperature so it goes nice and soft before you have to mix it. It makes the mixing a lot easier. And the zest of 1 orange. A relatively easy way to cut your 170 grams of butter is that, bear in mind that's 250 grams, so I reckon on about 3/4 of that. I cut that there, so basically look at half, then split that second half into about half again, cut it down there, and hopefully what we then got here, hopefully put it on our scales. We put the little dish on top of the scales and we turn it on, make sure it's on grams, and then set it to 0, and then that, you probably can't see that, but miraculously that is 176 grams. So that's a fairly easy way of doing it rather than having to do it bit by bit by bit. Now what I'm going to do is cut that 170 grams of butter into little pieces, and then it'll make it easier to mix in the mixing bowl. So I'm now just going to cut our 170 grams of butter into roughly 1 centimetre slices. And then we cut them into 1 centimetre again, and again, and cut that up again into roughly centimetre chunks. Don't have to be too fussy about this because it's a bit of a cloggy sort of thing. And do that, and you've got that one. Just do it roughly, and just do it like that, and then that'll be ready for a little bit later on. Just carry on till you've completed. Now cut those into little Jenga blocks, and then cut the 1 centimetre Jenga blocks into 1 centimetre. Ow! Chop your finger off. Oops. And then put those into your bowl, ready for mixing. The job's a good one. Now get butter all over the camera. Just give you a quick demonstration on how to zest the orange. I'm going to use my little zesting tool, which is a little tool, like that. And you just start at the top of the orange, and work all the way around to the base. And keep going around, just keep turning the orange. This orange got a bit soft. Just keep going around the orange all the way around, and then you'll have enough zest. This is when it starts to smell more like a proper Christmas cake. And here we go. There. Make sure you don't get any nasty pithy bits in, but just the zest of the, and that'll give it a little bit more its unique flavour and taste. There we are. Hopefully you can just see that in the bottom of there. So that's the zest of 1 orange. And you can just chop your orange up and eat it as an ordinary orange. Taken out of our kit the basic ingredients that we need at the moment. So we've got our fruit mix, which has got brandy in it, soft brown sugar, mixed spice, plain flour and chopped almonds. And you can see our bowl with our zested orange, and then there's the butter, 170 grams of butter, which we chopped up into about 1cm cubes. It's nice and soft, it's at room temperature. We need 3 medium eggs at room temperature as well, and the fact that the butter is soft, it will make it easier to mix it in. So we'll see how we go on. So first of all, we're going to beat together the butter that we've chopped up. So we'll put 170 grams of unsalted butter into our big mixing bowl. And then into that we're going to put our soft brown sugar. Nice very sharp scissors, always useful. Put that into the bowl with the butter and then mix that up. This is the bit that's the most physically demanding because it does take quite a bit of pressure and quite strong. You do have to work the butter and the soft brown sugar in together, but having cut the butter into little cubes, it does make it a lot easier, and particularly if the butter is nice and soft. This would be almost impossible to do if the butter had come straight out of the fridge. So we go on like that until we get it all mixed up to a fluffy consistency. And as I say, it will be reasonably strong. And all mixed up nicely together. Maybe I don't want to get it all over my Christmas shirt because fairly forceful. Just continue like that until it becomes light and fluffy. So now that's, hopefully you can see that on the video there, it's all nice and fluffy. And now we're going to add in 1 egg at a time, 3 eggs in total, and just beat it 1 egg at a time. But what I do is I tend to break the eggs into a mug. Feeling fairly confident with this then. Be fairly confident in the way you break them, and then you'll find that it'll be easier for you. So do that, get the pressure you need, put that into there, pop the 1 egg in, mix that in, and then repeat. There you go, there's a nice little gooey mix. So that's all going to get beaten into there, and then continue with the remaining 2 eggs. In as best you can. It doesn't look a very appetising sight at this point, but bear with it. So we now got all of our 3 eggs mixed in to our soft brown sugar and unsalted butter. It doesn't really get much better than that. It all looks a bit lumpy and bumpy and a bit horrible, but don't worry about that at this stage. It'll all come right in the end. Now we're going to add our sifted flour. We just want to put the sieve on top of the bowl, and then we'll add in our plain flour that came with the kit and our mixed spice, which makes it smell and taste nice. So we just put those in together and we'll just try it off. Put that in. The beauty of using the kit is, of course, you've got no wastage and you've got no sort of leftovers, particularly for people who don't bake regularly. And you don't have to worry about buying loads and loads of fruit and bits and pieces and mixed spice, etc., and then find if you don't use it then maybe for the rest of the year. And I bought a couple of these kits just before Christmas, and I think they were probably about £13 then, but I bought a couple more recently after Christmas, or between Christmas and New Year, and the price had come down to £3.36. So it's pretty inexpensive Christmas cake, and because you've got the marzipan, you've got the icing sugar, you've got the apricot jam to stick the marzipan to the cake, and all you need to provide then is 3 medium eggs, 170 grams of unsalted butter, and the zest of 1 orange, a bit of icing sugar for dusting if you like. I don't always dust with icing sugar because sometimes with the older folk I find it makes them choke a bit, so in case you want to get rid of your older folk, I sometimes find it best to avoid it. It's a personal choice. So I'm just wafting that into the bowl. just going to mix that in and throw that in the washing up. Unfortunately, this is a real kitchen, it's not a, so it's, I'm just going to mix that in. At this point, I'm sitting there thinking I've probably forgotten to put the nuts in, but maybe I don't think it's quite yet. Just check. If you panic over, the chopped down ones don't go in yet. So basically, what we're doing now is just to fold the sifted flour and mixed spice into our mixture. So that's what we call folding. That's what I call folding. Teach your heart out, Mary. And Peru. Anyway, that's it. So that's all come together now. It's a matter of just getting it all in there together. There we are. So that's all been folded nicely into there. So that's all nicely mixed up together. Just a word of warning, don't forget to add in your orange zest just after you've mixed your eggs in, so you get your eggs mixed all up nicely together and then your orange zest, and then we've now finished mixing in our sifted flour and nutmeg, and now comes the exciting part where we're going to put in the almonds, chopped almonds. Go in the bowl, there we go, and this is a nice small bit where we get the brandy, the fruits with brandy and cherries all mixed up together, and then with the brandy in it will help the cake, preserve the cake for a bit longer and make it nice and moist. Your teetotal. And when you've got a problem with nuts, I guess you can leave definitely leave the nuts out. But just don't do anything that's going to make you ill. And so then what we're going to do now is we're going to fold that in. This time we're going to use a nice big metal spoon. And then just fold that all in together. It's all nicely mixed. Bearing in mind this is a fruit cake, so it does sort of, you know, if you've been used to sort of Victoria sponges and things like that, this does seem a bit of an odd arrangement. But anyway, see that? So it's just a matter of getting it all nicely mixed together, and then that will go into our pre-prepared tin, which you can see in my other videos, and then we pop that in the oven, which we put it in our tin, to a preheated fan-assisted oven at 120 degrees for about 2.5 to 3 hours. Usually if I've put one of these in for 3 hours, it's plenty cooked by then, and it's fine. But certainly 2 3/4 hours it'll be fine. So hopefully you can see that, but it's all nicely mixed in together. We'll spoon that bit by bit into our prepared tin. So now we're going to put this mixture into our prepared tin. We've got 2 circles of 8-inch 20cm baking parchment in the bottom of the tin. We've got a double layer of baking parchment paper, and then we've got 2 little baking parchment circles which we've cut a little diamond in the centre there, just to let the steam come out. So now I'm going to carefully put the mixture into the tin bit by bit, and don't be too worried about what the paper around the edge looks like to begin with. If you start putting the mixture into the tin, then you can use the mixture to push the sides of the baking paper out so that it's nice and tight against the tin, and then you should get a uniformly uniform base of your cake. And then what I do is, once it's cooked, I turn it upside down onto a wire to let it dry out, and then it means that you've got the nice flat shiny side up, which is then ideal for doing your decorating. So anyway, we carry on like that, finish off filling the don't forget to leave a bit of the scrapings in the bowl for the chef and for the children, who always historically love that part of it. And now with this, I'm just smoothing out the top of the cake, fruit on top of the cake with the wooden spoon. There we are. It's all nice and flat-ish. And then we're going to put our couple of baking circles, parchment circles on top of the cake. The idea is to let the little hole, a little vent in the middle will let the steam out. You've just got to sort of put that loosely on top of the cake there, ideally so it doesn't touch the cake, but that's easier said than done. I've never had much success in stopping it from touching, but with these modern baking parchments and things like that, you don't get a stick, trust me. So now we pop that in the preheated fan oven, 120 degrees fan for 2 3/4 to maybe 3 hours, and then it should be perfectly cooked by that time. If it's a conventional oven, it'll be 140 degrees for 2 3/4 hours, somewhere between 2.5 and 3 hours anyway, but as it's a nice slow, low heat cook, you will be fine. Don't forget to make a wish when you're stirring the pudding, and make sure you wear suitable Christmassy attire. Here we are, fresh out of the oven, been in there for about 2 3/4 hours. Even to worry about the top, because as it's this parchment, it hadn't stuck. That looks nicely mixed, so we'll turn that out onto a rack so it can cool and dry out thoroughly, and then we'll either wrap it in greaseproof paper and keep it for another day, or we'll probably just finish it off with the marzipan and icing and make it into a traditional Christmas cake ready for New Year's Day. Here we are, there's our rich fruit Christmas cake. Not very thick, about 2 inches or so, but all the fruit and everything's nicely mixed in, and hopefully that should be nice and moist as it's been cooked nice and slowly for about 2 3/4 hours or so. I've inverted the cake, so I've put the top of the cake on the bottom of the rack, and it means we've got a nice smooth surface to put our icing onto later on once it's cooled down.